Have you ever published a book and then it took like hours or weeks or days to publish, and then you found out like, oh, low content. I didn't realize that Amazon does that. In this video, you're going to learn little ways around getting a book published faster and a current test that I'm running. So typically I will test something out a couple times in a row before I bring it to this channel, just to save you time, which time is money, right? Like, you want more time freedom. My name is Jenny Henson Lane, and I've been publishing on Amazon for 3 years. I published over 600 books. I think we just crossed 610. In this video, we're going to talk about kind of the differences between low, medium, and high content, just so you understand it if you're new to self-publishing. If you're not new and you're tired of your book taking a long time to get through the review process, then tune into this video, okay? So I'm going to draw just a couple things out here so you have the visualization of like what we're actually trying to do, and so you actually understand what to do, okay? So low content books. About a year and a half, Amazon added a new category just to their help page so people could understand low content books. Now, it covers anything, well, and this is actually interesting because we've been seeing some changes online. So what it was classified as was, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. Repeated pages is what Amazon has been saying, okay? They've been saying anything that has repeated pages is considered low content. So that would classify log books, line journals, composition notebooks, anything that had repeated pages, right? But I recently, and what happens, there's not a big deal if it's low content, right? But what we've seen is that Amazon changed their 72-hour period to 7 to 10 days to publish. Now, that's not a big deal unless you're like, I want to get this book out and see how it does. Then we need to look at different strategies, okay? So I recently had a student that did a workbook. The pages were not repeated, but it did require the buyer, the customer, to fill things out. Amazon kept kicking it back to low content, and they said this is not repeated pages. And Amazon came back with a new term, a new phrase. They started saying, if this requires the customer to fill things out, it's low content. Okay, so fillable space was being classified as low content. But this does not include all of these things, right? Coloring books, activity books, word search books. Like, there's so many things that go as what we call, no one else is calling us this, no one else is calling it this, medium content, but we call that because it's not quite high content. High content is anything that has, I would say the good classification for this, anything that has more than 10K words in it, okay? So something that really takes a little bit more time, whether you're hiring a ghostwriter or not. So with this email that my client sent me, my student, I should say, they were like, why is Amazon doing this? You know, like, what is the difference here? And so I do think, we don't know all the bots and algorithm of Amazon, but what I started to test, let me show you my test, okay? So some of the books that have made me the most money were essentially, they were empty inside, right? What I started getting into with this was like prompted journals. And so what I started to do was more prompted journals. And so a typical prompted journal looks like this, right? Like, it is a page and it has text, right? And then what does it have? Lines, okay? I think the lines trigger I don't know who reviews these. I don't know if it's a machine learning or whatever. But so I was like, I'm going to test this, okay? So then what I did, because what I'm trying to figure out is, what is the difference between low and medium, like getting a book published fast, because my prompted journals used to go really fast and now they're not going fast anymore, okay? So let's do a different color for this. So this is what I did next, is I did 2 prompts per page. Okay, so they still have lines on them. Okay, that was published the same day. So I'm like, what is this, Matt? Like, what is going on? Okay, so then my students try it. It doesn't work. they still get classified as low content. So I'm like, let me try this again. Okay. So here's the most recent one that I did. And this worked. Okay. This passed not as low content. Okay. So I'm still doing my prompted journal. Okay. But I'm making it a little bit more complex. Okay. So a quote. I'm putting a quote here. Okay. I'm putting another prompt here. Okay. This is weird. Instead of lines, I'm doing a box they can fill out. So essentially, I'm trying to do books with less lines. That's all that's happening. That's the only difference that's happening. Like trying to get these books to not be low content. Now, don't be discouraged if you have a low content book. It doesn't matter. Like, solve the problems of your book in your book so you can sell books. That's really what it comes down to. But for those of you that are focused on like, yeah, I don't want it to go low content, try taking lines out of it, okay? So like the next book that you do, let's say you're doing a planner. I actually had a student that did a Bible planner that hit $1,000, okay? So let's say this is Bible, okay? They love the Bible, by the way, so I think that helped too. Let's do a Bible planner. And so like we are, instead of like actually tons of lines, we are building something of an experience for the customer. We're giving them ideas. We're doing spiritual quotes. We're asking questions, for them to fill in the box. And, something too, like we're numbering the pages too of these books to make them higher quality. So that has been something, like maybe there's a quote here, that it's still fillable, but for some reason it's not really getting caught in like a 10-day publishing period. Now, I'm not trying to scam the system or anything like that. I'm a marketer who's always going to do testing to figure out stuff. So that is the intention of this, is to figure it out, because success leaves clues, and we're not always given everything, right? Like we don't know how the Amazon algorithm works exactly, but we have enough clues to be successful. Same thing with Facebook ads, same thing with like digital marketing, same thing with like publishing YouTube videos. So I'm just sharing my test with you, is that the less lines I'm putting, and actually this is another step up, the more value that I'm putting into the book, the more they're selling, and the more they are going medium content. Okay, that they're not spending 10 days to be published. Now it's okay to start, like I tell everyone, publish a journal or a planner, publish something basic for your first time, because there's something in your brain that changes, and this becomes the foundation for you. And this is what we're doing to you guys. Like we are climbing the mountain, right? And so like we have to do little things to get us there, okay? We can't skip steps, okay? Because we need the endurance to do it. When I hiked the Inca Trail in Peru, I knew that I would be ascending to 12, 13, 14,000 feet. Maybe that's too high. 11,000. Like it was high up, and I was going to a different country. And so to prepare for that, I lived in Utah. Not to prepare, but I lived in Utah, and I ran in the mountains every day. Super fun. I love it. I can't wait to go running in the mountains in Utah again. And when I was on the Inca Trail, I was able to do the 4.5 hours of stone stairs. I was able to reach the summit of Machu Picchu first in my group because I had prepared. I had put in the reps, right? So like, it's okay to do low content to get the muscles going and to figure out how you want to position yourself. But there are over 100 different types of books you can publish on Amazon that make it so fun for you to try other things too, okay? Because the more value you put in a book, the more that you can charge, and sometimes that's hard with low content. So I have a free training coming up, and I would love for you to attend. So please grab that link in the description. And then this training, it's all of us together. It's super fun. I'm going to talk about the 3 big things that made a difference for me. And I want you to join. I want you to attend. And I want you to ask questions. You can also ask your questions below, like what videos would you like to see? What has helped you? I have a couple more that I want to share about like how I've tried new processes that have, share my tests with you. I don't like to share them until like the test is done, but there's a couple things where I'm like, this worked 3 times, so let's put it on the channel. So thank you for being here. I'm cheering you on. Always remember, if you don't quit, you can't lose. Love you lots. See you in the next video.